If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post a new Tom Brady video every day.
To the big game in New England with the Bucs beating the Patriots. Tommy, how are you today?
Doing good, Jim. Doing really good. Happy to really get a tough, hard-nosed, hard-fought victory over against a great team. So we got home like 5 a.m. It's going to be a grind through the day because it's football season and we got to get right back at the preparation for next week. But obviously, we had one goal in mind going into the game last week. Coming out of it with the victory against that football team is a great team win for us, and really excited. A little bit tired this week just because last week obviously was a big week and there was a lot of prep into it. It's a long flight up there. It's a long flight home. It's a late night game. It's back and forth game, so a lot went into it. So going to try to recharge the battery a little bit and get ready to play this coming Sunday at home.
So I find this astonishing. When I called you early this afternoon, I thought perhaps I'd be waking you up. You were in the gym working out. You're talking about being tired and run down, and you found the energy to work out. What's driving you? How does that happen?
Oh, well, that's just part of the routine. And I think if you're going to be a professional athlete, you've got to get into a good routine. You've got to have a good process to recover as quickly as, you got to obviously prepare for the game. But then after the game, you got to put the work in to get your body feeling back right. So I was just in the gym getting my strength training done, and I'm going to meet here with Alex here shortly and get all my pliability work in and kind of get in that process of getting ready for next week. So it doesn't stop. And I think that's the thing about football season. Yeah, one game's really important and you want to win them all, but it's a long season. It's a marathon. And it's not really a time for me to reminisce. It's a time for me to keep going, keep grinding, and make our October month better than our month of September.
You talk about grinding. Was that the ultimate game of grinding?
Man, it sure felt like it. It is absolutely, that's what that game felt like. And, I think about it and I think about that particular environment. It's a great football environment. Me being there for 20 years in Foxborough, Sunday night football, you've got most of the country watching, and it's that kind of weather, and you got the foghorn blowing, you got a downpour the entire night, and you're going against a really obviously talented team, but also really well coached team. And we found a way to win. And I would say that was a big win for our team. It's a big win because we had a tough one on the West Coast last week and flew back, took our lumps, and then got prepared to go win a game. And we made just enough plays. Obviously, it was a nail biter, a bunch of lead changes there. That kick that Nick had there at the end, was a hell of a kick. And it just doesn't bounce your way some nights. And the margin of error in professional football and professional sports is very, very, very small. And it's never about one play. There was a lot of plays that I wish we'd have made. We kind of held ourselves back. We didn't execute great. We had a lot of penalties. We were pretty crappy in the red area. All those little things come up. And fortunately, our defense really stepped up at the end when they needed to.
So, Tom, I want to take you back to what you said about Nick Folk, and the ball hits the upright, and doink happens. What runs through you?
Man, well, at that point, I was pretty excited, because it was one of those games. And again, the week earlier, you watched Justin Tucker doink one in Detroit, and it goes in. And it's a tough thing to make those kicks, and when it goes your way, it's pretty good. And I think you and I have had some pretty fun experiences in our own way on the golf course in Montana at Yellowstone Club on the 17th tee box. There's a tree. Anyone who's never been there, it's a pretty amazing place. But there's a tree that's right in front of the tee box, and it splits like an upright. And we always make a bet of who can hit it through with basically a hybrid or driver, and it's always money on the line. And everyone tries to split the uprights. And when you do, man, it's a great feeling. And when it misses, it's pretty, it's okay. When it hits the upright and doesn't go through, those are the tough ones because you lose the ball and you lose the bet. But That's sports. That's sports. That's why we do it. It's pretty fun.
We've had a lot of laughs about poor Cody Parkey. I mean, his name has come up 1,000 times on that tree because it's about 10 inches wide at the bottom and it goes up to about 3 feet. So it's a very narrow target, about 75 to 80 yards away. So we've had a lot of laughs about Doink. Tom, what was your emotion when you took the field last night?
Man, I was pretty fired up. It was Sunday Night Football. I felt like it was a big game for our team. It was obviously so much was made last week about myself going back to a place where I'd been for 20 years. And I did everything I could to keep a frame of mind that it was myself and my teammates that were going up there to win a game. And I had a lot of personal emotion just because there's a lot of personal relationships and a lot of people I really care deeply about that I spent 2 decades of my life with. And, anytime you think about family, I had my whole family there, my sisters, my mom and dad, my wife, my kids, and football. And what's that really meant in my life brings a lot of emotion to me. And just naturally, a lot of those things came out over the course of the week. I was kind of able to get them out of the way. And really, by the time I ran out for pregame warm-up, I was pretty fired up. I was ready to go play a great football game. And it was a great night of football. It was a tough football environment. It was a very competitive game, as you would expect. The weather was really tough, man. That was being in Florida now for 20 months. That was the first rain game we've had. That was the first rain practice we've had. I've obviously had a lot of those up in New England, those kind of crappy forecast games, and it came to fruition. But, in the end, there was a lot of mental toughness. Being down in the fourth quarter of that team and beating them at home is a tough thing to do, and I'm glad our team did it.
How would you describe lining up against your friends, lining up against guys that you've won championships with, who you have genuine concern and love for, and now, for those 60 minutes, you're scrapping and fighting?
Let me just say it's nothing I prefer to do. It's not as enjoyable as some people would think. I look over and I think about Matt Slater out there, and I look at Kyle Van Noy and Dante Hightower and Devin McCourty, and I look at David Andrews and Shaq Mason, just some amazing people that I've gone to war with. And, the reality of sports is sometimes you go different places and now you're on the other side of it and you're sitting on the other sideline, and, you want those guys to do so well because you know how important it is to them and you know how much it means to them. And if there's one thing I take from last night, and I had some questions about, what was my experience going to be like? I got to see some people after the game that I just love so much. And the best part of the night was having the game over and seeing them and understanding that no matter how we compete, my relationship with those people transcends wins and losses. And yeah, we want to win. Absolutely. I think the process of trying to win is what's most important. It's winning and losing is icing on the cake and, for the winner. But what you got to do as an athlete, you got to put as much as you can into it. And if you do that, and I know from a lot of experience in losing games, when you lay it all on the field, look, you're proud of what you've accomplished. You're not going to win every game. It's really tough. But the hugs, the handshakes, the congratulatory messages, all the different things that I heard really in the end to me is what continues to motivate me and inspire me. And I'm very blessed to have an amazing support system. So many friends had sent messages of support before the game, obviously after the game, and I get those when I lose too. But it's tough to go against your brothers. Let me say that it's very tough.
Tom, what you just said, all those folks, are you talking about players you played with, ushers, security people, fans, coaches? Who specifically?
Yeah, the whole crew. It's funny, when I got to the airport, we landed in Providence. It was the same bus driver that I've had for however many years. I drive to the stadium. It's all the same security. It's the same chief of police of Foxborough that I've seen for 15 years. It's the same security. It's the same video crew. It's the same equipment staff, and obviously the players, the coaches. I saw the owner, Mr. Kraft and Jonathan. So, it's just, I think for me, he's just trying to soak it all in and make sure that I saw everyone. And like I said before, it was 20 amazing years. I left on great terms. And my football experience is now in Tampa, and I'm doing everything I can to help this team win and providing as much support on the field as I can, trying to be a great leader off the field for our team. And I'm surrounded by another group of great players now, and really great ownership and great coaching, and just a great organization that's really been put together here, that we're doing some good things. And I know it's not all perfect and these games are tight, but it feels good to win, and it feels good to see our hard work pay off as well.
Tom, how much pressure did you and your teammates feel about this game and winning this game? Because no matter how much you might have tried to downplay this as a regular season game and keep it normal, the hype that went into this game with millions upon millions watching and the circumstance being so rare, this wasn't a regular season game for everybody who was viewing this. How much pressure did you and your teammates feel?
Well, it definitely felt heightened. I'd say that there was more, circus-like atmosphere than would be typical for a regular season game, and we felt it. My teammates, I would say they handled it absolutely amazing, and the professionalism of, I spoke to the guys on offense about what we were getting ourselves into and what kind of environment it would be, and they handled it absolutely the way that you would expect. It was a focused group of guys. They know that. For me, it was a big, meaningful, emotional game, and I think everyone was really locked in. And at the same time, it was a regular season game. I mean, I don't want to make more of it than what it is. It was an October football game. It's different than playing in January, where if you lose and go home. We got a game this week. That's the reality. So it's not like this is a playoff game where you lose and you're going home. We got a lot of football left too. So it was great to win. It's great to win on the road, but we gotta get it back in the tank now. There's no letdown this week. We gotta now come together and have the same type of urgency, although it's going to feel a little bit different because there's not the Sunday night atmosphere. There's not everyone rooting against you in the stands. There's not, again, all week people talking about this particular game. So, part of being a professional is regrouping and, for all of us to come back and reassert our goals for the week and, try to be even better this week, because it was a really hard, challenging game. It was a very physical game. I'd say that, a very physical game. I mean, I'm definitely sore today. I took a few really good shots, but, we're going to have to come together this week and get geared up and get ready to go again.
You've told me for an awful long time, and you've told our audience, football begins at Thanksgiving. And the man who I think instilled that in your head was Bill Belichick. He came and saw you in the Tampa Bay locker room after the game. How would you describe that moment? It's been described by your teammates as, whoa, is this a movie? This guy's really coming in here right now, and they kind of cleared out, and then you had your time with Bill. How would you describe that session, Tom?
It was a nice conversation, and it's not like I've been really focused on what I need to do for the Bucs, and he's focused on what his role for the Patriots. So, you see, for 20 years I saw him basically every day. And, since I left New England, we'd never seen each other kind of face to face. And it was nice to catch up and exchange just some different thoughts that we had been having. And it was a good way to end the night for both of us. So, we have a very personal relationship. And I think, from my standpoint, like I said, and I've reiterated quite a few times, he's been a great mentor for me. And when I showed up in Foxborough, I didn't know anything about pro football. I showed up as a kid from, California, went to Michigan, and he was an incredible mentor for me, incredible coach for our team. And a lot of guys would say that. And, when you're with someone for 20 years, you know him pretty well. And he's still doing a great job, and I'm trying to do a great job. And we're very competitive people. And I appreciate everything he's done for me as a coach, as I've said numerous times. And I know he feels that same way about me.
Tom, does this provide you with some sort of a closure now, officially, with the Patriots, having had this conversation, and now everybody can move on with their lives and feel satisfied, particularly you?
Well, I don't think it was part of that. We weren't reminiscent about that. I think there was when I decided to sign with the Bucs, there was closure. And again, I said after the game, I'm a part of that Boston community and New England community for life. My kids are Bostonians. It's not like you have relationships and memories. That's what we have in life. And I got 20 great years of memories. I've had the best teammates in the world. I really have. I've been so blessed to have the most amazing teammates. I've been blessed to have the most amazing coaches. Some of the obviously the Patriots organization is second to none. And my football experience here in Tampa is everything I've have been looking for. And it's just been so fun for me the last 20 months. So I'm really enjoying this. I want to keep winning. I want to keep competing. And I want to keep working to be the best I can be. And games like last night are why we play football, because you go on the road, there's 70,000 people cheering against you. It's a downpour. You're losing in the fourth quarter, and you make critical plays to win the game. And that's what sports is all about.
Do you think the fans maybe needed this? They don't want to have to pick between Brady and Belichick. They want to pick.
No, I wouldn't either.
Both of you.
Either. Why should they? Why do we do that? And I think that makes no sense to me. And I think there's so much division in the world. There's just so much. It's every day you turn on, the TV and see different media. It's more destructive than ever. That's not my personality. I try to build people up. I try to bring the best out in people. I try to encourage people to be positive, to look at the glass as always half full. And I've looked at it like that for a long time. And I'm going to continue to do that because it served me really well.
Tom, you broke the record last night. We saw you talking to Drew Brees before the game. It was his record until you passed it. It seemed a bit anticlimactic in the stadium. That's a huge, huge moment. But apparently the game just goes on and you were driving. What was that moment like for you to break this record and to have this achievement?
When you're in the midst of the game, everything's happening pretty quick, and it was a road game, so it's obviously a little bit different. Obviously going into the game, there was knowing I needed a certain amount of yards to break the record, and Drew was in the house, and what an incredible player he was. I remember when he broke that record from Peyton. I remember when Peyton Manning broke it from Brett Favre. So, it's been broken a little bit here recently, and I was actually watching all those games, and it's been an amazing thing to watch the yardages pile up. And I think me just being a part of it, and again, what a blessing it's been to be a part of football history for a lot of different reasons. And I think the thing that I'm most proud of is there's so many people that can share in that award. There's nothing that you can do in football as an individual. And I can't catch a pass. I said that after the game. I can only throw them. And I'm decent at it, and I'm still working to be better at it. And hopefully every receiver that's ever caught a ball for me and has added to that gets to share in a little bit of happiness today, last night, and they're part of NFL history too. So I got to see Drew before the game. He was as complimentary as ever. Sent me a really sweet text after the game. I've had so many people reach out that just very thoughtful and kind. And, I've been doing this for a long time, and just grateful for the amazing support of so many friends over the years.
You credit so many of the others and all those guys who caught the balls, and obviously they deserve credit. It's a real historic moment, but you've made this not about yourself. When did you recognize that all of these achievements and accomplishments aren't about yourself? Because in this day and age, we see people who are only narcissistic and only pointing to look at me. At what moment do you think you recognize that?
Jim, that's a great question. I was a baseball player growing up, and when I started playing football my freshman year in high school, I fell in love with the sport. It was the ultimate team sport. There's 53 players that take the field in pro football. I went to Michigan, and it was really reinforced. And Bo Schembechler always had a line, the team, the team, the team. And, when you go to pro sports, it's a little bit different because there's a lot of people that can be in it for themselves. I think when you're in it for other people, you get so much more out of it. And I think that's the way life is. When you're wrapped up in yourself, you make for a very small package. When you share different achievements in your life with people, it's the best part, is sharing it with your family, your friends, your teammates. And, it's not like basketball. Basketball, you play offense and defense. Basketball, you're a huge part of both sides of the court, and, golf, you're out there as an individual. In tennis, you're an individual. In football, you're not. What I do only happens with the hard work of so many others. And I think that's why I have so many great memories and friendships from the sport, because that means more to me than anything. And I think the relationships I have with the people that I care about the most is what's the most gratifying thing to me in my life. And I think that it's so easy to get wrapped up in people, giving you all the different accolades and so forth. But in the end, it's a very shallow existence in my belief. It's what's important is sharing these experiences in life with the people that I really care about. I know genuinely care about me. And when I get, again, I hear from, my friend Drew Brees. I hear from Peyton Manning. I hear from Brett Favre. Guys in other sports, Tiger Woods, they're genuinely happy when they see people succeed, and it doesn't diminish them when you do well. And I think those are the people I really, appreciate as competitors, because I feel the same way about them. There's nothing that any of those people that I've looked up to in sports that I'm rooting against. I'm rooting for everyone to be their best.
When you hear from somebody like Tiger Woods, who's sitting at home watching this as a fan, and you've played with him in the match, and that had to be a great experience to be out on the golf course with perhaps the greatest golfer ever. And he sends you a text and he gives you some wisdom. Share what that feels like and how that hits you.
Yeah, it's very kind. And again, it's, you have these amazing milestones in your life, and you're just out there, and he's a little bit older than me, but, still a young guy who's been through a lot. And I've followed his career obviously forever. And, it's amazing to have different people reach out who I've watched and admired in pro sports who approach it the same way. They have the determination to win. They have the resiliency. They have the mental toughness. And anytime people have done it for 20 years, 20 plus years, 25, including college, I've 22 plus 5, 31 years of sports. I've been doing it a long time. So I got a lot of friends that, they add a lot to my life.
Well, you should be happy you've now beaten all 32 teams. What team did you enjoy beating the most, and perhaps which one the least?
Holy cow, that's a good question. The team I would love to beat the most is the Giants. There's no doubt about that, because they've taken away some really, I've always joked with Eli, but yeah, and I think he likes that I bring it up all the time. So I don't bring it up again. I do not like losing to those guys. So when we beat them, I love that. And the team I like to beat the least is obviously the Patriots. Again, those are my guys, man. Those are the other warriors that I went to battle with for so long. So I've had a lot of battles over the years with different teams. There's a lot of mutual respect in pro sports, but glad I'm through with the one last night.
And Tom, as the Buccaneers depart, and this now is in your rearview mirror, the city of Boston gets ready for the marathon. It's just a terrific event that I know that you've witnessed all those years that you were here.
Yeah, an amazing event. I've had my sister run, being there for as long as I've been. There's a lot of memorable moments. Obviously, a very difficult, tragic one that always brings more meaning to it with the marathon bombing. And it really has allowed, and it showed amazing resilience, the city coming back from that and really glorifying all the runners and what it means to the city. And I know our foundation, the TB12 Foundation, has a lot of runners in the marathon. We've raised quite a bit of money over the years. My boy Snake is running this year, and it's really one of the great events in the city. It usually takes place in the spring. Didn't happen this year. It's taking place now in the fall, but I'm going to be cheering on all our runners and hoping for a really great event. I'm sure it'll be a great one for the city of Boston.
Our producer, Dave the Snake Hagen, who you just referred to, did the Berlin Marathon just a few weeks ago, and he came in at 3 hours and 39 minutes. All right, Tom, a little wager. You taking the over or the under on the Boston Marathon for Snake?
I'm taking the under because I know he's got a little more in the tank, baby. Let's go. He's got a little more. He's going to dig deep. He's going to get all his pliability treatments. He's going to be ready to go.
I'll take the over. It's a lot harder marathon than Brady.
No way.
That's it for this video. I post a new Tom Brady video every day, so please like and subscribe. That way you'll always have a new Tom Brady video to watch every single day.